It happened on a Wednesday afternoon, the kind of day when the world feels both rushed and strangely quiet. Ethan, a single father in his late 30s, had just finished a long shift at the garage. Grease still clung to his hands, and exhaustion painted his face, but he was smiling. His 10-year-old son, Noah, had been waiting outside, sitting cross-legged on the curb with a book that was far too advanced for his age. They were heading to the park, their little ritual. For Ethan, it was less about swings and slides and more about making sure Noah had pockets of joy in a life that hadn't always been fair. That's when they saw her. A girl about Noah's age, standing under a tree near the duck pond. She was dressed neatly, too neatly, like her entire life was planned out by someone else. But her shoulders were tight, her arms folded across her chest, and her eyes darted nervously as if the air itself made her uneasy. A woman stood nearby, speaking rapidly into her phone. The kind of woman whose tailored suit and diamond earrings announced she was someone important. Her words were clipped, businesslike, but her gaze flicked back to the girl with unease. This wasn't just a mother. This was someone carrying the weight of both love and regret. Noah tugged at his dad's sleeve. "Dad, she looks lonely." Ethan followed his son's eyes and sighed. "Maybe. But sometimes people want space." Noah hesitated, then slipped free from his father's hand and walked toward the girl anyway. She didn't notice him at first, not until he spoke. And what he said made Ethan freeze. It wasn't English. It was Spanish. Noah spoke softly, stumbling a little but with a rhythm that came from the heart. "¿Estás bien? No tienes que tener miedo. Are you okay? You don't have to be afraid." The girl's head snapped up. Her eyes widened, shimmering with a mix of shock and relief. Tears welled up before she could stop them. Her mother's phone slipped from her hand. Because the language Noah had just spoken, the one that wrapped around the girl like a forgotten lullaby, was the same one her late mother had tried to teach her before illness stole her voice, and then her life. The CEO's daughter had grown up in silence where there should have been warmth, surrounded by tutors and expectations, but missing the sound of love in her mother's tongue. And now, out of nowhere, a stranger's son was speaking it to her, haltingly, imperfectly, but enough, the girl whispered back, testing the words like fragile glass, "Mi mama, hablaba así." My mom spoke like this. Noah's smile was gentle. Mine too. She used to read me bedtime stories in Spanish before she was gone. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He hadn't realized Noah still remembered so much. His wife had been gone for years, and he'd thought the language would fade with her. But Noah had carried it like a treasure, waiting for the right moment. And this was the moment. The CEO, Amelia, finally found her voice. She knelt beside her daughter, tears streaking down the face that the world usually saw as untouchable and polished. She whispered, almost to herself, "I never finished learning. I thought she'd forget. I thought it wouldn't matter. But it mattered." Because in that instant, a little boy with oil stains on his jeans and hope in his heart gave back something Amelia could never buy with her fortune, a connection to a mother's unfinished gift. The four of them sat under that tree for a while. Noah taught the girl simple words her mother had once started: luz for light, corazón for heart. Ethan watched quietly, humbled by how easily kindness bridged worlds money couldn't touch. Amelia put her phone away. For once, there was no deal, no meeting, no urgent email, just her daughter laughing for the first time in weeks, maybe months. When they finally left the park, Amelia turned to Ethan. Her voice trembled. "You don't know what this means. I've built companies, entire empires, but I couldn't give her this. And your son just did." Ethan simply nodded, gripping Noah's small hand. Sometimes the best things aren't taught. They're remembered. That night, as Amelia tucked her daughter into bed, the little girl whispered a word before sleep claimed her. "Buenas noches, Mama." "Good night, Mom." And Amelia cried, but this time, it was a healing kind of cry. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is simply speak, whether in words, or in actions, the language someone thought they'd lost forever. And that can change everything. Love leaves echoes. And when shared, even in small ways, those echoes become bridges between hearts.